What up, y'all? It's your man Sam Ant here at Viral Hip Hop News. We are live on this beautiful Saturday evening. It is absolutely gorgeous out here on the East Coast, November 5th or 6th or something like that. And it was 75 degrees out here in New Jersey, man. Hope everybody is doing well out there, wherever you are happen to be watching or listening to this broadcast right now. We got a special guest coming in the building very soon. We got Maj Toure, CEO of Black Guns Matter, gonna come on here and drop some game for us this evening. But before he does, man, y'all go ahead and hit that like button. Share this video. Drop your area codes in the comment section. Let me know where you're listening so we can get y'all engaged in the conversation. But hope all is well with everybody. It's been a very busy week in the world of hip hop, sports, and just in the culture in general. Hold on, let me grab some water real quick. But yeah, man, it's been busy out here in the world of the culture, I should say, man. We're going to talk about the unfortunate passing of Takeoff, get Maj Toure's opinion on that. We're also going to talk about this current situation going on, not only with Kanye West, but with Kyrie Irving. We see how the NBA has laid its hammer down, and we see clearly how they are using us to relay that message. Mobile, Alabama's in the building. Shout out to you. And like I said, for the people that's coming into the building right now, drop your area codes. I like to warm the crowd up a little bit. I like to talk and give my 1-2 before we bring our guest on. You know what I mean? Give you guys a chance to go ahead and shout out your area codes. Let me know where you're listening. I appreciate y'all, man. But we're going to really get into this conversation this evening. Maj Toure has a lot to say. If you follow him on Twitter, he's been absolutely on fire the last couple of weeks, especially dealing with Kanye, especially dealing with the Kyrie situation, and most importantly, the media, in particular us, the hip-hop media, that is really steering this bullshit and making it go a lot stronger and a lot crazier than what it really should. I have not seen one person in mainstream media, that being TNT, TBS, ESPN, NFL Network, Fox Network, whatever the case may be, just come out and say, well, what did he say? Well, what did he do? Just come back and ask the question. And nobody's asking you to be disrespectful. Nobody's asking you to shit on anybody's culture, anything like that, because that's not what I condone and that's not what I promote here on the platform. But what I'm saying is, what's wrong with asking a question? 410 in the building. What's good with you? 323, stand up. Appreciate y'all for jumping in the building. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with any of these media correspondents, in particular ones that look like us, on just saying, hey, yo, what did he say? Hey, yo, did anybody actually watch the documentary that Kyrie was referencing? Did anybody ever care to watch it? Or we just going to shove a bunch of cameras in his face? We're going to put some people in the front row of an NBA game saying fight anti-Semitism, when the dude, every time you put a microphone in his face, the first thing he says was, I don't want to harm anybody. I don't want anybody harming anybody. I love everybody. I am just expressing how I feel about my culture. I know who I am. They want him to apologize for knowing who he is. Let's think about that for a second. 773 was good with you. 512. What up with you? 615. What up? 704. What up? Slauson, Boys, Compton, stand up. You already know. Sam, that Kwame interview was epic for the culture, man. Shout out to Kwame Brown. Shout out to my cousin, Oh God. And shout out to the bro, Maurice Duncan and Angela Stanton King for setting that situation up. Real men do real things. It was a misunderstanding the whole time, and we got to get the business and do our thing the right way, man. But before we get to it, 704 is in the building. Let's get our man Maj in the building right about now. Hey, brother, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me?
Yes, sir. I hear you loud and clear, man. Peace. How you feeling, bro?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Good, man. We are currently live in the building of Viral Hip Hop News. Y'all keep dropping them area codes. Let me know where you're listening. We got Maj Toure on the podcast, founder of Black Guns Matter. We had a great interview with him a couple weeks ago on the podcast. Go check that out if you guys haven't checked that out. It's on the audio version as well as all platforms that we own: Viral Hip Hop News Uncensored, and the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. Go check that out right now. Hey, brother, before we get to the content, before we get to the meat and potatoes of the evening, let the people know who you are, where they can find you, and where they can look out for any information.
Well, my name is Maj Toure. Y'all could have found me on Instagram today, but today Instagram blocked my third page. So they took my I've had 3 pages on Instagram. I'm like trying to chase Rizza Islam for the most pages on Instagram getting taken.
Damn.
So they can't get me on Instagram right now directly, but they can get me on our backup page, Official Black Guns Matter on Instagram, Solutionary Lifestyle on Instagram, and Solutionary Fitness. Solutionary Fitness is, we got to make sure that our health and wellness is on point. If you want to learn about more health and fitness issues and things like that, exercises, diet, water, all that other good stuff, that's Solutionary Fitness. If you want to learn some, beginner to intermediate gun stuff, on Instagram, Official Black Guns Matter, classes and all that other good stuff. And Solutionary Lifestyle is the overall, health, wellness, guns, books, finances, politics. So you guys can follow all of those pages. Please do so, because again, my main page, or my third main page, is now, removed. I personally believe there's several things that go on with that and why it was taken, but we can get into that because there's a lot of cornball rappers that have been attacking the page lately. But outside of that, man, I'm the founder of Black Guns Matter. We are a firearm safety and training organization that teaches beginners. Our target is beginners that know absolutely nothing about firearms, that just want to learn about it, that want to learn how to protect their family, protect their communities, protect themselves. And if you want to do that in a safe and responsible way, without having to pay a whole bunch of money, we're absolutely the organization or the pages to follow for that. And if you guys got anybody in the stream has any questions, anything like that, I'm open to it. And we're gonna like you said, we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes of this one today.
Hell yeah. And for the people who see the title, it's clearly we're going to talk about the thrashing that our brother Kanye West and Kyrie Irving are currently receiving in both of their respective professions. Man, it's getting ugly out here, and we're going to break that down like nobody's business. But before we do, you talked about Black Guns Matter. You talked about gun safety in particular when it pertains to us and our community. And I just want to talk about real quick our unfortunate loss of Takeoff from the Migos, who we lost on Halloween evening out in Houston, Texas. And a lot of people, obviously, when we lose another hip hop artist, they go to black on black violence, which needs to be discussed. But then they also bring in and slide right into their gun control. And this is why guns need to be off the street. And me personally, I thought that it needed to be the absolute opposite. We need to be teaching gun safety and learning about gun ethics and learning about not just having any old fool punk motherfucker with a gun having the ability to take anybody's life. But that was just my 1-2. Right. What do you think about the unfortunate situation of passing of our man Takeoff from the Migos and just how it hit the hip hop community yet again?
So it's several things to that. One, there's a bunch of questionable, there's a few things. When Meg Thee Stallion, it was reported that she was shot in the foot, or that Tory Lanez shot her. I had a bunch of questions. My questions were not to be rude to Megan Thee Stallion. My questions were not to be, an easy way out if Tory Lanez may have did it. It was just a question. It was to ask questions. It was something doesn't feel right. There's a lot of bones, in a foot. And the question about somebody being shot and within a few weeks to a month performing at the VMAs was a question to me. In this situation, and again, in that, it's not a diss to Tory Lanez, it's not a diss to Meg Thee Stallion or anybody like that. It's my highest alignment is to the truth. And if something doesn't look right, I'm going to ask a question. Similarly, in this Takeoff situation, there's video footage of Takeoff and Quavo actually trying to de-escalate the situation. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think we make this mistake of, before we have fuller context and or more evidence and facts, we tend to jump straight to, they was at a dice game and it was, the people that I spoke to in Houston and other people have corroborated the story. People that I know that are from Philly that live in Houston now. It's like, bro, that ain't have nothing to do with that dice game.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Some people are saying it came from an argument or a conversation that happened earlier in the Fifth Ward. A lot of people are looking at Jay Prince. There's people that say Jay Prince, if you're around him, he's the only person that you got to get patted down to even be around him. My point in saying that is all of this is speculative if you wasn't there. Right. And if you wasn't there for when the shots rang out, you might have been there for that, but you wasn't there for maybe what may have happened or transpired earlier. Context is so key, man. Again, I every a year or so, somebody brings up my false rape accusation like it's new news, and it's not, right? But if you don't have the context of what that paperwork looks like, you could, without the right context, it could just look wild, you know? And so because I'm someone that has been falsely accused of a thing, and I see how people that even know that try to utilize the fact of you being accused and charged of something without the context. I have that understanding that people do that. I try not to do that. What you don't like as a follower, you shouldn't do as a leader.
Right.
So with this situation with Offset having his life taken,
Takeoff.
excuse me, Takeoff having his life taken, and
Right.
Offset and Quavo as members of a group that have been together for, they've been rapping for damn near 14 years at this point.
Right.
We got to give a little bit of grace to let the time and the context and the facts settle, and then context goes on to that. But what I will say is something does not look right. Just like I made that reference of Meg Thee Stallion, something doesn't look right. Somebody getting shot in the head and the stomach, if we're on the same team and it's friendly fire, usually if we squad, we on this side. And if we're engaging somebody else, they on that side. How does this man get shot in his head and the stomach from friendly fire? It does not make sense to me. Yeah. The positioning, the audio, the calm nature of the conversation before the shots rang out, that does not make sense to me. Usually as a thing escalates, the volume elevates, and again, this is me on the outside looking in. I wasn't there. I'm correlating that to my lived experience and looking at what happens in a shooting.
Right.
Because we do scenario training. We take scenario training. I train sometimes with guys that are Green Berets, Navy SEALs, Army Rangers. These are my friends. And I pull off of some of their lived experiences as well. If we're all over, and again, anything can happen, and I was not there, but if we're all over here, and the story is guys were arguing and he got shot from friendly fire from his guy that was, Quavo was over there and mouthing off. First of all, the audio does not reflect that.
Nope, not at all.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where people just running with it. And if the audio doesn't reflect that, and if both of those gentlemen, Takeoff is generally known for being very reserved. So now we got someone that supposedly jumps all the way out of character, and he's hit up. You got, Quavo was arguing. That does not reflect the audio. He was literally, trying to diffuse the situation. The conversation should lean into more context than what actually caused this man's life to be gone. What made the members of this group that had their own issues that they was going through, obviously, these guys are going to question everything now. These guys are going to, Takeoff would question, damn, if I was there, maybe if we wouldn't have been going through what we was going through, maybe we could have moved it. This is going to be with them for the rest of their life. So before we're in a space where we're jumping the gun and then blaming the artist that the audio and the video does not corroborate the story, in my view. And then we saying, it's their fault because they was at a dice game and we missing the context. You might not even have heard from nobody in Houston yet. And even the people that I've talked to in Houston, if they wasn't there and they didn't have everything on camera, damn near like a stenographer with an exact report of exactly what went down, I even got to take that with a grain of salt. So I just want our people to really, really give grace to, the situation and allow these men and their families and their loved ones a moment to reflect on his death. That's the first thing that I would say to it.
Right.
Then after that, I say, the reality is a man was murdered, a young man, a multimillionaire that's used his skill set, whether you like it or don't, whether you don't like the music or you do, they use their skill set to empower the people that's in their circle to make some bread. And they ain't had to rob nobody to do it, and whoever pulled that trigger for whatever reason, we got to come into the conversation about conflict resolution. We got to come into the conversation about this is not the way. We got to come into the conversation that this is not hip hop culture. We keep ascribing death to hip hop because some guys are writing stories, whether they live them or not. We have to understand that that's a part of reality rap or street journalism. But at the same time, even if those artists have an accountability because they're writing and they're in certain environments and so forth and so on, we got to hold everybody accountable. We got to hold the consumer accountable. We got to hold the executive accountable. We got to say, yo, if Drake and J. Cole are the biggest selling artists and Kendrick Lamar in sales, this myth that, oh, the labels are only pushing what the people want. If J. Cole and Kendrick, to my knowledge, are some of the very few artists that have went platinum over the last few years with no features, and all of these other guys that's getting all this money behind them, these guys are not selling platinum. The argument that, oh, the executives is only giving the people what they want, that's false. That's false. So we got to look at it from that perspective. We have to look at the accountability, and all of this is happening all damn near at this a very strange and synchronized time.
Very.
You know, as we're saying this, Kanye just was like, yo, these executives is paying us to kill each other. Everybody want to package him as he's insane. This is no different than what C. Dolores Tucker was trying to argue with us in our youth, and we may have not really understood. Then we got to start looking into, damn, what actually fully was C. Dolores Tucker really just trying to stop our freedom of speech? Or as our elder at that point, was she sharing some wisdom with us that we should have took a little bit more heed to? You know, when this ties into the time where we have to ask, when Charlemagne sits down, like we said before, with Leo Cohen, and he openly says, hell yeah, I'm exploiting these artists for death. I got people to feed.
Yep.
So all of this is happening at the same time. And I would encourage our people to not just pick one party to blame. It definitely was not the Migos' fault at that party. Based on the limited information that I see from that moment, it could have been something else that they was a part of and wasn't. Who knows? I wasn't there. Well, I don't know. I will know what happened in the Fifth Ward. I wasn't there. But in that moment, based on that information that I see, I definitely am not blaming them. I'm not.
Right.
If they were, appearing to be the voices of reason, no. What I am going to step back from the elephant and look at is who's benefited from this perversion of hip hop culture being infused into hip hop culture, masquerading as Black culture. Because that's what's happening. Hip hop culture had all of the elements of a culture: MCing, DJing, breakdancing, graffiti. That's writing. That's hieroglyphs. That's speaking. That's the drum, the djembe. This is all Black culture. But what's happened is we've allowed certain executives to infuse more negativity. Because we're not stepping back and looking at the actual, the actual situation that's happening in real time, we're not going, and even back before in real time, we're not going, damn, they took one part of it, they bastardized it, they tricked us into thinking that this is exactly what the reality is, and they took out all of the other cultural elements. So that part of it that's being bastardized is not culture. It's now you got to step back again and go, what other financial interests do these people that are executives and owners of these companies, what other interests financially, socially, that goes into their financial benefit, what other financial interests do they have? So let's take a record label. Let's take Def Jam. Def Jam, Universal. Universal is owned by Vivendi. Vivendi is a French company. Vivendi owns like Seagram's. Seagram's owns a lot of wine and spirits stores. So of course we want you to buy liquor because we have a financial interest in the liquor that we sell. Of course we're going to have the companies ship that liquor over to the artist and make sure that their bottles is there. It's amazing when you step back and really look at it. So I don't think that the general public is asking these questions, and we're focusing more too much on a little too much. I'm not attempting to absolve any group or individuals from the responsibility that they play.
Right.
But we step back and we seem to only look at the artist. We seem to step back and we say, oh, Kyrie Irving shouldn't have tweeted about this movie, but we ain't looked at Jeff Bezos. Never mind the fact that when Kyrie first tweeted about it, you could rent the joint for $3.99. Now it's $11.99 to rent. You could buy the joint for $20. Now it's $50 to buy it. We ain't really looking at that. So we got this self-hate of or conditioned response of who we should be looking at for as a problem. Now, again, this is not me saying, you know, if a dude promotes death, first of all, the Migos music generally isn't about death. So I don't
Facts.
even know how we associating that with these guys.
Right.
We have to look at a bigger unseen hand that is manipulating these situations. And if you're not doing that, you only getting a small slither of the context. And again, then we got to look at ourselves as the consumer. You know, as I said last time on the platform, when we discussed this or
Right.
discussed something similar, it's it's a it's a it's a three-headed monster. And we, as the artists, as the consumers, have a responsibility in it. Because even the stories that we telling, even if we just trying to write the story to paint the picture, because I know how it is to have a thought and want to write it out. Even if we doing that, we still have a responsibility to how that's impacting our environment. I got into it with a clown rapper yet again. He mentions my name all of the time today or yesterday, whenever he did it. I didn't even like mention him, you know. And I have to be careful about my natural reaction is to go to Brooklyn and smack the fuck out you. That's my natural reaction to disrespect.
Right.
It's not it's natural because it's how I'm conditioned, how we condition in the environment. It's unnatural because we truly people of peace. We truly that. But I was born in America. I'm American as fuck. This place made me this way. So I have to make sure that the things that I'm even saying as a giving context, explaining it a certain way, right? I have to make sure that I don't even tweet something like, you know, these rap dudes is all tough until there's a gun in their face. Like, I have to be mindful. I have to think. I might be talking about this clown.
Right.
But somebody might be like, damn, bro, why would you tweet that knowing that we just lost Takeoff a few days ago? You know, so we have to, as the consumer, as the person repeating the song lyric, we have to also be very, very careful. We got to look at our own responsibility in that. And anyone that would only pick one of those three, right? Only the executive, only the artist, only the consumer. That person is missing. If they pick one of them three, that's only 33% of the pie. You're missing 66% of the answer. It's a holistic approach to how we solve this. I personally put a little bit more onus on the executives because they are gaining leaps and bounds of better financial rewards than the artist, and the consumer makes absolutely no financial reward. And financial rewards and benefits are how we actually benefit our community and build the things that can lower crime and, you know, create general happiness, so forth and so on. So I put a little bit more onus on those guys because they know that the music does not sell as good as a J. Cole or a Kendrick or a Drake. That is a fact.
Yep.
They keep this lie up. They benefit from it because people ain't putting the comb to where they getting their bread from outside of just their financial interest in the hip hop community.
You know, it's interesting. You articulated it a little earlier how all of what we're going through right now correlates in some kind of way, and how we're watching Kyrie Irving speak his piece and speak his truth, and how he's being publicly executed for it, losing his money, losing out on endorsements simply by promoting a movie of knowledge of self.
Yep.
And then when we look at the general problem with our community when it pertains to us is we don't have enough knowledge of self. Right. So then you see how executives try to push and get us to steer us away from that, using our own media people, using people that look just like us. I'm talking in particular about sports right now. We can transition to hip hop because there's plenty of them motherfuckers over there too. Yep. But in particular in sports right now, we're seeing people like Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, Jalen Rose, who I fucking was my dude. I was a Fab Five fanatic when I was a kid. He was my favorite player. My son's name is Jalen. Got love for the dude, but I cannot agree with what he's doing right now. And others. Those aren't the only three. There's others out there doing it.
Yeah.
What do you think about how, or let me get your opinion on, do you feel like the executives and people in those higher places use us as those black tokens to go ahead and steer a narrative more so that when those white consumers look, they say, hey, well, look, Shaq's saying it. He's black as anybody. Or
Yeah.
Barkley saying it. He's black as can be. What do you think about that?
I think these guys are walking contradictions. Charles, listen, we've all seen, if you watch Shaq back in the day, Shaq has slapped the shit out of people and punched them in the face in a game. And I'm not saying we are, all redemption belongs to us all. You know what I'm saying? You can learn from your mistakes, but I just think it's highly hypocritical. Even if you disagree with Kyrie Irving's approach, you on national television calling this man an idiot. Shaq literally said Kyrie Irving is not conscious, and Shaq and the guys on it. It's like, bro, you don't even know what that word means, champ.
It's crazy.
The fact that these guys, don't know how to articulate a disagreement without calling for the financial ruin is hater energy. It's Willie Lynch energy. It's the old against the young. And the reality is, you guys is definitely tap dancing. And I don't know if it's just they got that phone call or they yanked the chain or whatever. Some of these guys, literally are just kind of just going like, I know this is the accepted speech, and this is what I know the 40%, owned NBA or ownership is Jewish. I know that the media conglomerates that we're on are Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, I'm going to say the right thing. It's like, bruh, you know how to work the room. And I think they work in the room. I don't know the determination of if it's, them getting that phone call. These are the pre-approved talking points. But I think a lot of those guys they know the script. If you say this, listen, Charles Barkley spit on a dude. Charles Barkley kicked a reporter. Charles Barkley threw a man out of a window.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm lying, I'm flying. Like, the thing is, I'm young, but I'm old. I'm old enough to remember my uncles talking about certain shit.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same person that did that. So, like, they ain't really they like the United States government. They're not really in the moral position to really be telling somebody else what they should be doing. The thing is this. I don't really care if you agree with, the Hebrews to Negroes. I don't really care. I know that the reality is all of the great historians, including white ones, have said, everywhere we go, it seems like the planet gets blacker, darker and darker. Yeah. I know that we can't ignore the pyramids in Tenochtitlan. We can't ignore the pyramids in South America. We can't ignore the pyramids in China. We can't ignore the pyramids in Kemet. We can't ignore the pyramids early in Timbuktu. We can't ignore the fucking, like, come on, bro. John Henry Clark is a thing. Like, his works and teachings exist.
Word.
So that ain't hating. That's just like, yeah, bro, that's just what happened. We can't ignore that, they came before Columbus, it's a book, bro. Like, it's not, this ain't, at this point, it ain't even like rocket science or a conspiracy at this point. Like, the Browder Files, the Nile Valley Contributions to Civilization by Anthony Browder, these books have been around for a long time. So when we're seeing with Kyrie, because he went from I'm in Duke, I'm indoctrinated heavy, to learning more about indigenous folks, to learning about Hebrew is, the true and living Jews,
mm-hmm.
And let me say this real quick. To acknowledge a certain thing, it's funny because all of these conservative dudes get mad at me when I say you guys are trying to minimalize the transatlantic slave trade by kind of saying stuff like, well, slavery was everywhere. Get over it, right?
Yeah.
I had like 15-minute video by Matt Walsh trying to rip me for saying, like, bro, I see what you're doing on Twitter. It does not help get conservative politics in the communities that need it the most for political power. The Democratic thing is it has never helped the Black community. Conservative and more right-leaning, or I'm a libertarian, right? Mm-hmm. Those political philosophies and those ideologies have consistently, our communities have been more liberty-minded. We don't want the government in our thing. And more conservative, like, yo, we're going to do our thing. Y'all do your own thing. Every Black hood in America is in alignment with that.
Yep.
And when I say that, but then these guys are minimalizing the transatlantic slave trade to kind of like, well, it happened everywhere. I see what happens. And these guys will do this, right? And I'm like, yo, the statement that you're making is it doesn't advance the cause of expanding these conservative values in our community. So when I say that, and when we see somebody like Kyrie growing in front of us, and these guys say, "Oh, facts don't care about your feelings. Slavery happened everywhere." Well, okay, keep that same energy when Kyrie Irving says, "Hey, there were Black Hebrews over there too." There's nothing so-called anti-Semitic about that, and I think I'm more well-read. Like the general public think I'm just a gun dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, nah, bro, I can hit you with at any given moment. I got books around that can handle, I think I got They Came Before Columbus right here. Like everybody should read that. The Creature from Jekyll Island. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, huge shouts to God Bless the Dead. Huge shouts to Dr. Laila Africa, Nutricide, the nutritional destruction of the Black race. You know what I'm saying? I could give everybody a book for a day of their life. My point in saying that is, Kyrie, who we are watching go through an evolution to strengthen and understand what his calling. We tend to want to be spiritual, and you guys, meaning the NBA, the governments of New York, and all of that, y'all shut down an economy and said these dudes couldn't play. And then when he didn't want to go get the jab, you said he couldn't play no more. This your fault. Y'all gave him more time to study. You gave him more time. You gave him more internet. All right, he's courtside. All right, cool. I can't come to the games. Let me read. Now he uncovering all this information, and now he's respectfully saying, I saw this movie, I tweeted it, and you guys are proving what Kanye, this is all, like you said, everything going in together. Yep. Now you guys are doing the same exact thing you just did to Kanye the week before.
Yep, the week before.
And then you expect, here's the irony. There's not a bunch of Jewish people that own things that cancel people. Let's prove that by using our Jewish media and platforms. And this is not indicative of every single Jew. Every single Jewish person that happens to be of European descent is not at the top of the secret Illuminati meeting situation, right? But when we look at it and we go, okay, how many Black basketball NBA, which is 75 to 80% Black populated talent, how many of them are owners? There's one majority owner of an NBA franchise. It's Michael Jordan.
Yep.
So you got to be like arguably the greatest basketball player ever.
Yep.
To be an owner in a franchise. You know what I'm saying? So like the books, when we talking about this conversation, when we talking about Dr. Ben, We the Black Jews, when you talking about They Came Before Columbus, like let's just have the conversation. My thing is, nothing that Kyrie said was disrespectful. I think he's like, he didn't even say anything about the movie.
Nope. He just shared it.
He just boop.
Because it had a reflection of his name. When he looked up his name and his meaning behind it, that movie came up and he shared it. Shared a piece of him, so we thought.
Like, the challenge for us is to stand behind these dudes. You could disagree. I disagree with some of the things that Kanye said.
Me too.
I disagree. I'm still buying wherever Kanye put his sneakers. That's where I'm buying them. I'm not never buying enough, like the fake ones that they try to put out. I wasn't buying no fucking Adidas. I already knew the story of him and his brother and Puma. I already knew that. Y'all can try to gas everybody else, but I know that's what everybody talking about. I woke up in a new Bugatti, man. Bugatti's owned by Volkswagen. Volkswagen made the tanks for the Nazi Germany army. Like I'm too woke for this shit. Like, I just be pretending like I'm not, just because I be trying to chill. But the reality is, like, bro, don't test the, So no, I'm not buying no Adidas. I wasn't buying them joints because they was Adidas. I was buying them because they didn't even say Adidas on them. It said Yeezy on them.
Yep.
I seen them come from 54 million in debt to being worth $6 million. And I'm seeing them do the exact same thing to him that they doing to Kyrie now. They trying to pretend, make it seem like it ain't that, but Kyrie agreed to give up the $500K the day after they suspend him. Kyrie had already said, yo, this ain't no diss to nobody's belief system, but why, even if he believes that melanated beings were the original Hebrews, even if he believes that, right? Debate him on the field of ideas. You get your scholar, you get your rabbi, you let him get his folk if he chooses to, and we have a dialogue about this. See, the thing is, everybody like my Instagram page being taken today. If what we was doing and saying wasn't actually impactful to your bottom lines and your control mechanisms, you would just let me say wow shit, and you would just like dismiss me. It would be no thing, you know? And so it's the same concept, but the general public got to get beyond the Shaqs and the Charles Barkleys and all of this other, you know what I mean? Now they got LeBron tapped in. Like LeBron quiet as shit about the Uyghurs in China being and all of that. You real quiet about that because you got the $1 billion situation from Nike. It's a contradiction. And these are, listen, I want to be clear about this. I can disagree with these black men, with these men on any level and still not wish them ill will. Right. I love the fact that LeBron built a school in his community where he grew up. I disagree with many of the policies of Barack Hussein Obama, right? I voted for him when it was, you know what I mean? But my twist to that is I disagree with the policy, but I think, you know, The Audacity of Hope is one of my favorite books. I love symbolically, not legislative, because those are two different things. I love symbolically what he put in the minds of these young black children. Look at this black family. Look at this father. Look at this husband. No scandal. Same thing with LeBron. Even if he got a bevy of shorties around, he hired the best PR team to keep that on the low. Fact. My point of saying this is we can genuinely disagree with these concepts or certain things and still not have ill will. These guys, Shaq and Charles Barkley, couldn't even have 2 minutes of time, and both of them called him an idiot. This is another reason how I know these guys is on groupthink. Y'all don't even got original disses. Y'all are repeating the same diss. You know, so I just challenge everyone to think a little bit outside of that. And again, it may sound like right now I'm saying a bunch of stuff, but I'm just telling y'all, step back a bit from this elephant and look at the enormity of what we're dealing with. Look at when you step back and you slow down and you just go, yo, this looks like a highly organized phenomenon. If it is a highly organized phenomenon, all of the black entertainers, all of the black celebrities are converging and saying, fuck this dude right now at the same time. I can't even get 10 of my friends to come to the crib at the same time.
Right.
So when you look at that, you have to just go like, oh, okay. And do that in a space where it's like, Shaq still adds some value to the world in some way. He's a funny guy. He makes people laugh. There's joy in that. Charles Barkley is kind of a funny dude and more stern and, you know, kind of like an old, you know, whatever. So there's value in his life. LeBron James, we absolutely see the strive for excellence, the strive for greatness that we should pull from. But everyone ain't going to be the same level of what we want them to be in the space, you know. But we could look at Shaq's business acumen. We could look at Charles Barkley's stick-to-itiveness. We could look at LeBron's excellence in a sporting field and the fact that he's even, you know, saying more than an athlete. You feel me? These are all important things, but we should also be able to give them constructive criticism and critique and say, nah, bruh, I can't do that. I can still say to Adidas, yeah, I appreciate that y'all did that move with Ye, but you looking like the ops now. And it's not cool that y'all going to try to sell his designs without his situation. And I can't co-sign that. And that's fair. And the market, if we all do that with principle, more specifically black people, not limited to, right? If we do that, the market will dictate what time it really is. You know what I mean?
Indeed. Now, since the last time we spoke, which was a couple weeks ago now, I was hearing that you were supposed to get on a number of different platforms and things like that in the hip hop in the hip hop space, and you've been dealing with some things in that situation. Do you mind expounding on that and sharing what you've been going through?
Yeah, man. Last week or a week and some change now. Um, a year or so ago, Ebro from Hot 97 tweeted something about me. And I'm pretty sure he got this from like following and fucking around with Talib Kweli, who's an absolute fucking clown. He's done clown moves. He's slandered me, saying very libelous things on social media. I got the screenshot. We're going to go after that bag. It's impacted my relationships. It's impacted my business. It's impacted a lot of shit. And, so we're going to go after that to make that. I need to be made whole. And that's just that. But I'm pretty sure he got that from that same type of energy. Because I'm a pro-gun dude, most of my following, the pro-gun space is generally white.
Right.
We created Black Guns Matter. Like, look, y'all ain't doing nothing in the urban demographic. We gonna do it. We tried to work with the NRA in the sense of, I was a member of the NRA. People don't know that the NRA has a very, very long and storied history. The NRA helped newly freed Black folk to fight against the South. The NRA armed in the 60s. They had the only desegregated gun range in Washington, D.C. But, and they went the opposite way. New leadership. These guys now have been behind a lot of the major gun control in America. So there's a back and forth history with the NRA. But I was like, look, y'all got the resources. Why don't y'all get behind? And they never did it. I never had a job for them. I would have loved to partner with them, but they just didn't do it. So we did it ourselves after we was already doing the work. So nonetheless, we, in essence, I'm in a lot of rooms where, Donald Trump Jr. follows me on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to CPAC, if I'm hobnobbing with pro-gun people, SHOT Show, it's going to be a lot of white folk.
Right.
My message has been absolutely the same the entire time. I take pictures with anybody that walk up to me at these places. Tommy Lahren has been super supportive. The person that they like, oh, she's a racist. She came to Compton and helped out with our class. She told Fox for damn near a year, yo, we got to do another full episode on what Maj is doing. I'm going to go to his class in Compton. All of these, so-called pro-Black dudes don't never come to the classes. Then when I'm in Chicago, you know what I'm saying? This lily white girl fought with Fox to have me a platform, was like, hell no, y'all should be doing this. And came to Compton, set up the chairs, did all of the work. That's like no cap. That's what she did. And we obviously have tons of Black people across the country that's helping. And that's we had a goal of making Black America. We stated this goal in 2016. Black Americans are going to be the largest new gun buying demographic. That was our goal. Gaddafi says, come to Philly. I live in Philly.
You live in Philly. I just read that too.
Yeah. My thing here is, so I'm in different rooms. Talib Kweli takes those pictures. I've done these platforms. I'll do these platforms because Fox, Newsmax, I'll do any platform.
Right.
But the left-leaning platforms where Black people, they got people in a trance. When I say, yo, let's do those. Let's do those platforms. They won't have me on. So I go to Hot 97. Ebro said, yo, bro, you a little too MAGA for me. That was about a year ago. He tweeted that. So I was going to New York to do some media there. And I said, yo, Ebro said about a year ago that I was too MAGA. Now that the whole world knows that I'm libertarian, I was libertarian the whole time. Y'all think he would have this sit down? And he kind of got that, and we went back and forth a little bit. So I said, yo, y'all get me the address to Hot 97. I'm going to pull up. So I pulled up. I was like, yo, Ebro, I'm here. I'm here. What's up? Yo, bro, you got to make an appointment. I'm not there. Da, 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 da. Now, let me be clear. I said this because for years, these guys have been aware of my work. Van Lathan, they used to be on TMZ. Great show he put together with 50 Cent, Hip Hop Homicides. I think it's a very needed show because we still don't know who killed Biggie and Pac. That was eons ago, right? Van Lathan, has been supportive. I've done his show. When I did that, the Red Pill podcast, Charlemagne said, yo, I love the dude from Black Guns Matter that was on. All right, cool. Let's talk about it on the platform because our people that you guys have listening, those stations, are listening to death, 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 drill music, drill music, drill music. I'm not saying don't stop listening to it. Don't stop pushing it. I'm saying add something else too. Let's talk about these things. Why Dead Prez ain't never been on the Breakfast Club? Why Stick Workout 2 is it's been in my rotation for the last year and a half. Right? So I say this not as I'm on some tough guy shit. I'm saying, look, I'm willing to pull up respectfully and have this conversation, and I showed up there, yo, woo, woo, woo. And then so people started getting on it. And I'm just like, look, hey guys, I want y'all to understand that this isn't some tough guy shit. He's running a platform. It can't just be everybody that run down on Hot 97. Like, we know the history of Hot 97. Like, It's been a lot of people shot at Hot 97. So it ain't that. And I'm not getting shot. I carry a gun yes, I carried a gun in New York. Yep. But I doubled back and said, listen, this is about a respectable conversation about conflict resolution, de-escalation, saving Black lives. That was that however many weeks ago.
Right.
Offset gets killed. Everybody starts going like, see, bro, what the fuck, bro? You said you wanted to chop it up with the brother. This is the type of thing that we need more men to hear. So they went back at it again. And I'm like, I don't have any faith in these guys at this point. I feel like it's something that is said, and it's not a diss. It's something that's said, but it's like, okay, when it's time to actually sit down, you actually tweet it. Yo, I love what you're doing on the conflict resolution tip. Talk soon. Let's talk, brother. You got a powerful position. And so a few days later, he hit up, people was doing that. And I was like, hey guys, this is the reason why. Unfortunately, we lost Takeoff, and just as respectful as I was here and talking about that death, right. I said, guys, this is the reason why we do these classes. And then Ebro has a video, somebody sent it to me. He was like, I just don't like when guys that have been doing the work, they kind of like promote their thing. And, I get it, they doing activism work, but it just feels awkward to me. And it's like, bro, you guys won't give us a platform for whatever reason. It's the fucking Illuminati, whatever funny answer it is, right? It's your ad revenues, you're concerned about it, whatever. My thing is, stop talking that, we got to do something about the violence. And you're not willing to platform someone that is literally presenting a solution to the problem. Armed, safe, and responsible Black people that deal with conflict resolution. We have an entire community center that deals with skills, trades, business, all of these different things. You listen to goofballs like Talib Kweli, who's done nothing for the Black community. Nothing. Your bars ain't even that hot, my man. Like, most did that whole Black Star thing, bruh. Like, let's stop it. Stop it. Your cadence is off. You rap too many words in between the cadence. Bruh, stop. I'm already hit. But nonetheless, you listen to Main Man. You don't platform the people that for the last 6 years have been doing the work. And in doing that, then when someone says, hey, we doing this work, then when a tragedy happens, you go, damn, it's kind of messed up that somebody's saying that on top of a tragedy. Oh, then you point the finger because I go do platforms. Newsmax literally texted me and was like, one of the ladies from Newsmax, yo, we want to talk about this Takeoff being killed thing. We need to talk about the work that you've been doing with conflict resolution. So y'all will get mad at me that I do Fox or Newsmax or these other right-leaning platforms. You won't let me do the platform. Then you try to make fun of me because I'm saying, hey, this type of homicides that happen is the things that we want to solve. This is the thing that we've been working on for 5-6 years. So now it's radio silence. I issue this direct challenge. And this is not no tough guy shit.
Right.
This is you guys like Ebro more specifically, Charlemagne the God, all of y'all, Rosenberg, all of you, you profit from the death of our people. You pretend to be sad when one of your blue check friends that you might even have points on their fucking deal. You never know how this industry go. You guys then want to then say it's a sad day, but then right after that, you push and promote the same type of music that infuses into the minds of our young people that don't have a filtration system. They add to the actual foolishness. What up, Mike? Everybody should be learning from Mike Rashid. Get your health together. Go to ambrosiacollective.com. Use promo code MAJ. You know what I'm saying? Use promo code MAJ. You get this situation happening. You don't highlight these men and women that are doing the actual community work. Then when the murder happens, then you say, oh, this is crazy. Then when the people that are actually doing the work, and I'm not talking about faux activists, I won't say no names.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to make it seem like I'm hating on people trying to do something.
Right.
But when you have guys that's doing this faux activism work and it's like borderline celebrity, right? You'll have them on in a heartbeat, but not why exactly hasn't Rizza Islam been on the Breakfast Club? Why, after Dr. Boyce Watkins started calling some things out, why hasn't he been on the Breakfast Club? Let's take it a step further. In the health and fitness community, Mike Rashid just gave a shout out, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Shout out to Mike
Why
Rashid.
is not Mike Rashid been on the Breakfast Club? Millions of followers, positive, obviously, right? YouTube presence, even larger than me. Mm-hmm. You got to start stepping back and looking at this for what it is. So the challenge to these guys is, forget me for a second. And now I'm not just talking about having Killer Mike on.
Right.
Killer Mike, we all love Killer Mike, but we all know, like, come on, bro, we already did that.
Right.
My issue, shouts to Killer Mike, because I don't want that to come off like in a rude thing.
Facts. Salute to Killer Mike.
You know what I mean? But when we start talking about saving our people's lives, when we start talking about, again, when we start having a conversation about the nutritional, and your diet ain't just what you eat, it's what you eat, it's what you eat, it's what you eat.
Mm.
When we start talking about what you put in your body, health and wellness, health and fitness, defending yourself from a corrupt system, being armed, having firearms, right? Now these guys want to get very, very absent. Now these guys want to act like Kyrie Irving is some space alien that because he has a differing view. Oh, because he's talking about something that might be a little bit more high science, and you don't want the general public that you have under a trance and a spell, you don't want those people to start waking up. See, this thing is called a radio program.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And so now when we start to get people like Kanye to have different questions, and again, there's some things that Kanye said that I'm going to disagree with. I'm going to disagree with Kyrie on the flat earth thing. I do have some questions about how come nobody goes to Antarctica. I have that question.
Facts.
I'm allowed to have that question. I'm allowed to have that question. I live in America. I'm allowed to have that question. But now, all of these other people that's doing something kind of Johnny come lately and ain't really getting to the crux of the issue. You start to challenge the pharmaceutical industry. You start to challenge the financial shackles that they put on our people. You start to challenge the mental and emotional boxes that they attempt to put our people in. You start to talk about all my friends got guns and we don't really fuck with police like that. All of my friends are willing to defend themselves, their lives, and their community, and they thinking right, they eating right, they working out, and they strong, and we got guns, and and the ladies love us. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a different thing, bro. You talking about having a Einstein-esque LL Cool J type Jay-Z framework of get money mind? Hell no, we not going to platform these dudes. Mm. And that's the part that I'm saying we got to really, really challenge. I'm challenging you, Ebro, respectfully as our brother. I'm challenging you, Charlemagne, respectfully as our brother. I'm challenging all of you blue checks that be following me. Nick Cannon been following me for years. I'm challenging y'all to stop like folding. Stop folding. The system need us. We don't need it. Stop folding and apologizing over something like what? Let me be clear to y'all. I have a sellout number. I'm going to tell you my sellout number. Here's my sellout number, and here's my what I'm gonna do as a sellout if the number come. If this Illuminati shit is real, right? Or whatever they want to call it, whatever secret, whatever the fuck. And then it can't be that much of a secret if we all know about it.
Everybody know it, right?
Like whatever, right? My sellout number is $800 million. It's $800 million, right? And let me tell y'all what that sellout number means. That sellout number means I'm just not talking no more. And here's how you guys will know that I've got the mysterious bag, right? If y'all see me with two Bentley Continental GTs, a black one and a white one, don't listen to shit else I say to you. Because I ain't really going to say shit worthy, right? Now, why am I saying that? Everyone has a so-called price, but people be pretending like they don't got a price.
Mm-hmm.
People be pretending like they still being righteous. People be pretending like, there's certain levels of challenge that, we got it all figured out. No, we don't. We learn some things and, whatever. My point in saying that is somehow I don't know what's in these rooms that make these men switch up this way. I don't know. I have not been involved in the magical rooms enough. That just means I ain't get enough money yet. That's my thought.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But regardless, I'm never going to lead my people astray. Notice I said my sellout number is for me to shut up. My sellout number is for you guys to stop me from infecting people with just thought. My sellout number is to stop challenging people's perception. My sellout number, and that's in essence what these guys want. But it can't be nothing for nothing. And I think a lot of these guys they don't even have a big number. They just want acceptance to be in a fucking club. I don't even go out like that. I don't give a fuck about, and I can have fun. They got the same internet that I got. This world, minus a few things, right? We all want cars. We all want a good warm home. We all want all of this other shit, right? The difference is anybody can get to anywhere else in the world except Antarctica, apparently. They can get to these places, right? And the only thing that differs is the level of luxury that you travel to this place in. That's it. Somebody said, I think the problem is that you have a sellout number. All right, cool, bro. Whatever. That's the sound of the point. You missing the point.
Right.
We all want the same thing generally. We want to be happy. We want our families to be happy. We want good shit. I'm okay with getting to Africa on a long flight, maybe not in a super cool, luxurious space yet, right? And if I got to get back to Africa again, I went years ago. If I got to get over there and I got to take an economy flight, it's not really economy because it's a big ass plane and you get to walk around and shit.
Right.
So I'm cool with that. I got books. I'll read. I'm content. I want a certain level of, and I mean content in a good way, like at peace. I don't mean not challenging yourself.
Right.
The things that are free, that are powerful is thought. And it costs you something because it costs you time to learn. But it's almost like they don't even want the people to think about this type of stuff. So they'll do the exact thing that they're being accused of. You control the media. And I don't just mean all Jewish people. That's stupid when you generalize. But there's a specific group of people that are in high positions of power that are silencing people for just asking people to think differently. That's it.
Yep.
You just asking people to think differently. Peep this. I'll say this last thing and we can move to the next question.
Mm-hmm.
At nighttime, at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you're at a red light, you stop at the red light, you wait. There's no train, no traffic coming, no magical train's gonna just come in the street if you go. And you go when the green light happens, right? At the next light or the next intersection, it's a stop sign. You stop, no cars are coming, you look, you go. People that you driving with would get mad at 3 o'clock in the morning at that next intersection, the third intersection was a red light. You stopped, you looked, nothing was coming, and you went through the red light. People will have an attitude that you went or be like, oh my God, you ran a red light. When you fundamentally did the same damn thing. You stopped, you looked, you went forward when you saw that it was clear. The people have been so brainwashed that they'll look at you crazy because you made the same exact decision, but you chose to go when you chose to go. It's safe. I'm going. Oh, but the light didn't tell you to go. Telling somebody something like this is the thought process. Yeah, that was me on the subway in Philly, Salim. I used to sell DVDs and weed down there. Salim said,
he said, yeah, I feel like it's I used to see bro on the subway. I remember you telling us that the last. That's funny.
Yeah. And all I'm saying is that's the thought process that we want people to just think a little bit differently. Just open your mind some. Just open your mind some. And if every single person that you value and that you found some sort of value in, and they become famous and they start all repeating the same script, the next question that you should ask is, who gave them motherfuckers the script? See, like, look what Salt 7 said. Well, you have passengers that don't want to die, right? Let's go back to that example. You could see the stop sign. The stop sign is there, and you go after the stop sign. If you still don't look, and somebody could still run through their stop sign and still hit you, even though you looked. Even when your light turns green, if you did it at the green light, if somebody runs through their red light, they could hit you. My point here is you are in control of your thought process. Did I look? I stopped. Did I thoroughly look to make sure nothing's coming? Nothing's coming. I actually can make the decision to go forward. One space we decide to do that late at night when there's nobody else out. I'm not talking about that's why I said 3 o'clock in the morning. At one spot, we chose to move one way, and one situation, we chose to operate another way. All of that is because of a program that we've accepted. I'm not telling y'all to go run fucking red lights. The point that I'm saying, guys, is like I just want you to think about the challenge to what you've just received and just didn't evaluate it. That is the part that is the danger to somebody like a Kanye West. They've done this 1,000 times. They said Michael Jackson was crazy. He was molesting kids. They said Prince was going crazy. He wrote slave on his face. They said Dave Chappelle was going crazy. He went to Africa. He's crazy. Like, how many times they told, and the irony is the most of these people, especially in the music industry, these people wind up dead or get shot like not long after.
Right.
Sam Cooke.
Yep.
Like, we come on, bro. Bruh, it's almost insane. I remember talking to Professor Small, and he said, I talked to Professor Small. He down there at the reparations rally in DC too.
In DC, yeah.
Yeah. Tariq Nasheed said some slick shit about me, but what he doing some good work on the reparations thing. But anyway, Professor Small said he had chopped it up with Pac not long before he died.
Yeah.
And he was saying how he told me this whole thing is made up. That East-West thing, it was all made up.
Yeah, he said that on our platform too. That was crazy.
Yo, for real?
Yeah, he said that. He said that he had a conversation with Pac prior to his death. He said, yo, that whole Biggie Tupac thing, that's a lie. He said, what we actually about to do is start a label, and then right after that, but he's about to start a kind of like a coalition or something between him and Big. And then he got taken out. Professor Small said it right on our platform. You can listen to it verbatim. It's right there.
So like this ain't fucking just magically Biggie and Pac just got shot and we don't know. You motherfuckers allegedly found Osama bin Laden in the mountains of Afghanistan, but you couldn't find. Like, come on, y'all. Like, just stop for a second and think, bro. Just stop. I just want our people to just for 1 second, man. Just challenge the what if. What if something that Kyrie, because he didn't say, yo, the Jews is horrible, this, that, and the third. He said, nah, Shalom, peace, what's up? Like
Yep.
I'm with that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, ho, 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 that's anti-Semitic. That means you ain't do the knowledge of the etymology of Semitic.
Word. What does that mean? What does Semite mean? Nobody
Bruh.
ever has this conversation. We don't ask why. Well, what do you mean by that? I'll never hear that shit on mainstream media. Not a simple why. Or what do you mean by that? Do you know what it means? Nothing.
It's almost like Malcolm didn't say this in the 60s when they called him anti-Semitic. I got that footage. He was like, well, if he was like, what do you mean? Like, I'd have to hate Africans and Arabs, and I'm all over them countries all the time. Like, what? I would have to hate most of the world. That doesn't even make sense. And this is the challenge. Listen, this human thing, because I want to take, again, let's elevate it back.
Mm-hmm.
This human thing, bro, I get it. Different groups and tribes and cultures, and you know, we had some silly shit happen to us. You know what I mean? And the current Jewish
Mm-hmm.
people were oppressed. That I'm not gonna. So let me argue from their perspective, right? If they were oppressed and they had to boss up because they were oppressed and damn near exterminated, I understand being sensitive about certain shit. I'm sensitive. I wasn't in the transatlantic slave trade. But I understand that the culture and the history and all of that other type vibe. Yeah, you ain't gonna get me to this. If this would happen to my ancestors too, the damaging thing is we're not really sure.
Right.
Because a lot of us was here. There were copper people up until for a very long time. Indigenous folks and black folks was also all identified as Negro.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes it even worse. Like in this journey that Kyrie's on, or other people, they searching for the identity that was stolen. You know, and so all I'm saying is, guys, just evaluate the what if. Just evaluate the what if. And stop being so quick to listen to these tap dancing celebrities that's so quick to run the script to try to villainize these guys before you even ask the question. Because what they're actually doing to these people is an actual like modern day castration in the sense of financial, to shame them. You a black man, Shaq, Charles Barkley. Mm-hmm. You up there, and I ain't really hear what Kenny Smith had, if he said anything about it. But y'all are up there disparaging this man, like calling somebody crazy or an idiot. That shit is dismissive and it's hurtful. Mm-hmm. As humans, like I understand the plight of Jewish people. Like, yo, I ain't had nothing to do with that. That rhetoric turned into my elders getting fucking thrown in the gas ovens. I understand that. Mm-hmm. So we're not saying this in the space of like, yeah, if your faith is of this, then fuck you. That's dumb. That's the overgeneralization. That's like the problem with the world now. You know, so just as we wouldn't want to genuinely do that to any group of people, we don't want that done to us as individual men. We don't want that done to us as whether you call yourself, you know, Hebrew Israelite, you a copper person, you indigenous, you Pawnee, you Cherokee, you Cherokee, you Iroquois, you Lenape, whatever. You identify as Christian, Muslim, you assalamu alaikum to everybody, like whatever it is, bro. No group of people that has been persecuted in their story wants to feel like other people are oppressing them and sending that energy again. And I'm not knocking that. But what I am saying, we got to stop back and go, okay, if you guys want to really have a genuine conversation about that, if you guys genuine, and this all ties in, if you guys genuinely want to have a conversation about let's stop the violence, you know, let's hear other perspectives, then you got to do that. But just trying to like isolate and force grown men to apologize, I'm going to be clear to everybody watching this. I done said a lot of aggressive shit, and I'm going to say a lot more aggressive shit as my life continues to move forward. I'm not apologizing for a motherfucking thing.
Word.
For nothing. If I said it and you got offended by it, know that that was not my true intent to offend you. If you try to be disrespectful to me, I'm from Philly. I'm going to disrespect you better than you disrespected me. And I'm not going to apologize about it. If I said something that you took out of context to make yourself look like a victim, and you try and paint yourself as the victim to the rest of the world, looking at you, Talib Kweli, I'm never going to apologize about it. I'm never going to apologize about it, because I know my heart, and we gotta stop trying to make people bend before we've taken a moment as humans to sit down and say, hey, what are you really meaning by that in a long format? Like, what do you really hate Jewish people?
Right. Exactly.
You know what I
You
mean? And a
definitely.
motherfucker could go, no. And I think Kanye did a horrible job of explaining that fully. The initial go round. Then the other interviews, he's like, nah, let me say what I mean. Let me explain it. Right. And I think we got to give each other that same level of grace. You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing that I could kind of like give folks, man. Like, give these brothers a little bit of grace. Give our Jewish folks, you Hebrew Israelite, you whatever. You want to talk about the Talmud, you want to talk about the Quran, you want to talk about the Bhagavad Gita, the Gilgamesh epics, the Turin papers, the Book of Coming Forth by Day, the King James versions, whichever Holy Bible with over 100 of them. You want to talk about anything. You want to talk about the satanic Bible. Yo, let's have good faith conversations about it. Give each person grace and just try to understand where they're coming from before you're trying to figure out like where they wrong at and how you want to make them wrong. Just try to hear, just literally try to be like, damn, what is he really saying? Yo, I don't know what you meant by that. Can you unpack that a little bit for me, bro? Our place could be so much more lit if we was doing that. And sometimes it may not be that. Certain people they just owe you a fade, and you could fight and then move forward. You know what I mean? But most times it ain't even that. Before we start canceling people, let's just try to hear them out. So
let me ask you this, and this will be my last question. I definitely appreciate your time. We got 1,700 people in the building. Hit that like button, share this video. And while we got the people in the building, before my last question, tell people where they can donate to your program, where they can get with your funding, and where they can find you. Drop that real quick while we got these people in the building.
So guys, we need all of the help we can get. We're going to do this for 2 more months. If you guys haven't followed me on social media, my Twitter is @Maj Toure, my name. Instagram kicked me off again today. But you can follow Official Black Guns Matter on Instagram or Solutionary Lifestyle on Instagram. Me and the team run both of those pages. So until we figure out this Instagram thing again, follow me there. But we do this work. We do community work. We do firearm safety. We do conflict resolution. We have a whole center. All of the classes are free. We do 72-hour survival training. We do all of this stuff, man. And we try to make all of the classes as much as we can free to all. We take beginners from knowing nothing about firearms, and then we walk y'all into the actual gun range. You don't have to pay for ammo. Just got to get to the class. You know what I'm saying? That's where you guys can get. Now, because of that, we really pushing. I've been doing this for 6 or 7 years. I want to chase some other endeavors if y'all ain't going to really get behind it. So we got 2 months, November and December. Unfortunately, I'm like, look, bro, if we can't get halfway to our goal in the next 2 months, I'm going to call it a wrap. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go on a farm like Thanos, and I'm going to grow food and be chilling. But guys, I want to keep doing the work. All of these classes on all of the stuff that we're talking about for years that we've done has been completely crowdfunded. So please go over to givesendgo.com/solutionary. givesendgo.com/solutionary. Donate what you can. If one of y'all people in here really, really rich and y'all want to be like, look, I want to be a $10,000 donor, and what package can we get done for that? We could do that. Email us. If you donate, I'm gonna already have your email. I'm gonna have your phone number if you put it in there, and I'm gonna call you up directly because I want to talk to you for real.
Right.
If you super rich and you got an extra $100,000 around, it's the last quarter, it's Q4, donate it. Like it's 100% tax write-offable. We are a nonprofit. So like we need that, guys. givesendgo.com/solutionary. And all of the classes are free. The website to register for classes is solutionarylifestyle.org. And that's where you guys can pretty much support and or register for classes. And if you want to teach a class at the center is available and free to all. All you got to do is go to the website, solutionarylifestyle.org. If you want to have an event where you're talking about whatever you teach, it is free to you. It's no money. That's the reason why we do the crowdfunding, so we can make this space available to the people. You want to have an event, you don't got a whole bunch of money, come do it at the center, man. Do that. You got a class that you want to teach, we got sewing there, we got phlebotomy, we got Spanish, we got dudes teaching barbering, we got fucking we got plumbing coming, welding on the light tip. Obviously, we do firearm training, stop the bleed classes, all of that. So givesendgo.com/solutionary. Go to the website. You can get to, all of those from all of the things that I just said, and support, man. But we really, you said there's 1,700 people in here. Imagine if 1,700 people in here just donated $100 this weekend. Take some of your stripper money this weekend. You know what I'm saying? Keisha with the fatty, she could be 100 light. Donated to the work. You guys have seen me. We already raised $500 and some odd $1,000. We were on GoFundMe. GoFundMe started acting wild, so we got off GoFundMe. So we've already gave the money away. You can check the file and see that I've already done everything that I said I was going to do with the bread. I didn't show up like with the 2 Bentleys. If the 2 Bentleys show up, don't listen to me no more.
Maj ain't coming on no more. It's over.
He's out of here. But yeah, guys, givesendgo.com/solutionary. If everybody in here just goes over there and donates $100, man, we could really make a dent, man. And so we appreciate everybody giving what they can.
Indeed, man. Y'all heard the man. Go follow and go support right now. Doing some very important things in the communities, doing things that a lot of our blue checks, like you like to eloquate, are talking about and not really moving on. My last question to you, brother, is pertaining to Kanye West and what we have learned about this whole situation as it pertains to us. A lot of us were very upset and up in arms about Kanye West, calling him, he was canceled. We didn't like how he said slavery was a choice. We didn't like how he had those comments about George Floyd. We didn't like the White Lives Matter shirt. And I'm saying we as a whole. A lot of people had a lot of individual thoughts about those 3 different kind of topics that Kanye went at on us about. What's your whole thought about it now? And what do you think we've learned as a people about that entire situation, in your opinion?
Kanye was getting talking points from another friend of mine, Candace Owens. I've done Candace Owens' show. I disagree with some of the things in the approach that Candace gives, but Candace we live in America, baby. Candace is allowed to say what she wants. I do not think that is going to strengthen conservative politics in the hood the way that she approaches it. I don't think so. But she doesn't have to do that. That's my job, her and some other people, I'm like, yeah, they have zero interest in actually spreading conservative values in urban America. They're more so kind of like we're talking to our base, we're going to say the things that some of our white conservatives might be afraid to say, and if Candace say it, it's like, yo, I ain't really want to say it, but Candace said it. So, take it up with her. And I get it. And that can be lucrative. Will that win people into the hood where we need it the most? I don't think so. I don't. But I think that Ye is around Candace, and Candace ain't well read enough. And I'm not saying that as disrespectful. I'm saying that so for example, let's just pull a stack of books. I'm not even going to look. Let's see what we got here. Oh, look what we got here.
Damn, how the Jews invented Hollywood, an empire of their own.
This was actually written by a Jewish dude, right? Oh, look, what do we have here?
Powernomics.
The Dr. Claude Anderson special.
Shout out to Dr. Claude.
Well,
The teacher's guide for beginning yoga.
My point in saying this is
I am not your Negro. James Baldwin.
My point is, that's me just literally reaching down in this bookshelf that I'm sitting in front of and just grabbing a handful of books. I don't think that the people that Kanye is around are well read enough. Rounded. You got to read. I have Saul Alinsky's book, Rules for Radicals, around here. I have Mein Kampf around here, which is Hitler's book. I have The Deacons for Defense. I got 1984. I got books on cooking. I got, obviously we're going to keep,
Gun Jones.
You see what I'm saying? So my point is, I think that Kanye is around people that are not well read enough. Huge shouts to the fact that Dr. Boyce said he and Kanye West had a 4 or 5 hour conversation last weekend at the All Black National Conference. He called and spoke to Kanye, or Kanye called and got in contact with him. I love that. I would love to reach out to Kanye and give him some more information. If y'all can make this get to Ye, because I want to, excuse me, because I've been calling the brother by his former name. The brother's name is Ye. If y'all could get me in contact with Ye, that's cool. I don't really be bugging Dr. Boyce because everybody wants, whatever. They're going to be like, yo, give me in contact. But if y'all make it get to Ye and Ye wants to get some more information, some more well-rounded information, Kanye got Powernomics.
Yep, sure do.
So like, I think that the circle that he's in is not feeding him all of a more well-rounded palette of information that could really, really help him. And I don't think that they're trying to like hurt him. I just think that I can take a thought and translate it in a manner and simplify it. Kanye he thinks like a person that's in streams of thought. And if he can't slow his brain down enough because he has all of these ideas, and if he's already said that he battles with bipolarism, it's a lot going on.
Right.
To have people that can help him and that's strong enough that he'd listen to, like he'd listen to Dame Dash. If he around me, you gotta listen to me. And I don't give a fuck about your money. I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't know you before this conversation. I might not know you the fuck after it, but I got some solutions. Having people around like that, that's not dick riders to the point where they not going to be honest with you as a homie. You know what I'm saying? And people that's not going to just be around to take advantage of him negatively. You know what I'm saying? Main man that did that Netflix deal, allegedly he got $30 million for that Netflix footage. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn, why wouldn't you talk to your man and try to get in good graces with Ye and y'all work that out? And like, look, let's figure something out. Like, let's put it out independently and still sell it. Let's work it together and let's sell it to Netflix for 80 million. They got the bread, you know what I'm saying? And so I think Kanye needs that around, and the people, the circle, and I don't know his whole circle. If he's trying to reach out to Dr. Boyce, he's reaching out to smart people. And so that's the reason why I think it translates into the White Lives Matter thing, the this, the that, and having somebody around that can kind of like curate that. And regardless, because some people will say, well, he ain't really a leader. And it's like, well, he's the guy. He's a visionary. A lot of leaders are visionaries. When people say about the George Floyd thing, because I want to touch on that. People could say, well, he had a history. He did X, Y, and Z. These are the same people that say they're Christian. The concept of Christianity is redemption. So we're not edifying Kanye or edifying a George Floyd. We saying this is the guy. This is, in all of the holy books, they always use the guy that's not supposed to be the guy. Like Moses was like, it's like, yo, everybody can be used under your own belief system. So it's sometimes contradictory to hear people talk like that a little bit. But my point is, I disagree 100% with the George Floyd thing.
Right.
Like, even if George Floyd would have died of fentanyl on his own, we wouldn't be confused about it if it wasn't some dude kneeling on his neck for 8
We
minutes.
never got the chance to find out, man. Never, we won't know.
Like,
right.
So let him die on fentanyl because he's in the back seat on his
Right.
own. And then that's it. So I disagree with that. I disagree with the concept of the White Lives Matter shirt, regardless of how they would try to spin it. I disagree with the fact that the Pope was on it, who sanctioned like that. The Roman Catholic Church sanctioned a lot of the slavery. We ain't talking. That doesn't exclude the Arab invasion of Africa. That does not exclude the fact that the Moors conquered damn near white folks out of existence in Spain. You know what I'm saying? We ain't ignoring none of that, but we not going to pretend like White Lives Matter and then having a Pope that had a big hand, the Roman Catholic Church having a big hand in that. No, I'm disagreeing with that. Now, with that disagreement, just like I say about Chuck, Charles Barkley, and Shaq, with that disagreement, I still am able to go, this part makes sense. This Charles Barkley is one of the most dominant power forwards ever.
Yep. And happens to be, not to cut you off, happens to be, I've met him personally. Yeah. Happens to be a good brother. He does. Right. I met the dude. He's a good dude. He ain't look at me no sideways any kind of way. He was a good dude in the position I was in at the time. He was a good dude. That's why it kills me to see what we seen on TV, because genuinely, I've met him numerous times. He's a good dude.
Right. And I'm able to just be like, I don't fuck with that position.
Right.
Now, if you a complete piece of trash, I'm like, bro, you're a complete piece of trash, right? But no, I'm gonna say for the position that Kanye is in, for the impact, for the vision, great, that's cool. I would say the same thing about anybody that's built something. I like certain things about Donald Trump. I don't have hotels all around the globe. I don't. That's something I could learn. And I think we got to stop doing this thing like when we can highlight the things or the attributes that we enjoy of a person, that somehow that means like you dick riding. No, I don't like, listen, the last 3 or 4 albums I was not feeling.
Hell no. Hell no.
Like, come on. I wasn't feeling them. The Life of Pablo, I started after the album that had Black Skinhead on it. I was like, yeah, I'm out.
Word.
The beats ain't hard enough. Now, cool. Does that matter? If he's talking about building schools, he's buying land, he's opening people's eyes. Cool. Agree with a person here, disagree with a person here. They're still a human. They still are worthy of redemption. They still are that. So I disagree with him. I think he needs stronger people around his circle that aren't, I just think he needs stronger people around him in his circle that's not afraid to tell him the truth or not trying to exploit him for their own political or social benefit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if it's, yo, you got resources, bro, this is what we already doing. And let me give you some knowledge too. And you could come help out with this as well. We don't, my community, it's like Batman. Kanye's like that, the Batman, the last one that Christian Bale played in, where, what's his name?
Bane.
Butler was trying to tell him, like, yo, you fighting Bane. Gotham City doesn't need you as Batman. Gotham City needs your resources, your brain.
Right.
We don't need Kanye to be the so-called leader. We need Kanye's resources to fund New Emerging King School down in Albany, Georgia. We need Kanye to sit down with Dr. Boyce and RZA and Maj Toure. So he, like, all of that land he owned over there, who's securing it, bro? Like, we need Kanye West to sit down with the brothers from the Green Haven Project in Miami that's growing organic fruits and vegetables and feeding the people of Miami for free.
Talk about it.
That's another amazing nonprofit. These are the things that the resources go towards. That's why in economic warfare, the first thing they try to do is impact his bread. And it's a great place to be in when I withstand a storm from the ops and I'm still worth $400 million.
Facts.
So all of these people getting it all fucked up, like, oh, y'all looking at Kanye with, bruh, you haven't built anything yet. Shut the fuck up. And that does not mean that it's like, well, Kanye gonna give me $1 million, so I gotta agree, bruh. I've told high-end donors from the Libertarian campaign when I was running the city council, yo, eat a dick, bro. I don't give a fuck about your money. This is what we have to get towards.
Right.
We have to look at this situation dispassionately and just go, what is good for the movement? And if at a certain point when Kanye does things that his resources towards the people is damaging, then it's different. But right now, we're just talking about opinion shit. I don't give a fuck about his opinion on like some shit he heard from Candace, because that's the only person that has some sort of right-leaning thought process. And I mean that just not so extreme left. That's the only person that's in his ear, that's in his circle that way. You just need better people in his circle. And I don't mean that as a diss to Candace. That's our sister. You know, I disagree with some of the things that she says, but I'm not going to let the system ever box me into a space where I'm putting more energy into fighting brothers and sisters than I am at acknowledging the system that put us in this chaos in the first place. So that's my take on it.
Got Maj Toure on Viral Hip Hop News live this Saturday evening. Y'all hit that like button, share this video if you deem it worthy enough to do so. Got 1,200 people now in the building, about at the hour 30 mark. Man, I definitely appreciate your time. You got my platform anytime you want. We got to get you down in South Jersey real soon, man. My cousin on vacay, but we still going to get that popping, man. I want to read a quick comment because I seen a couple people super chatting. Appreciate everybody that's been engaged in super chatting and things like that. My man, with our eyes rise. With the narrow margin in Congress, this will change on November 8th. Just a few blacks can force a floor vote on reparations by holding up all legislation. Fight the power. Salute for that comment. Appreciate y'all. What do you think about that real quick before we get out of here, bro?
I think more so than just translating to people what reparations means. There's some great work done by the late, great Johnny Cochran. It was called the Reparations Assessment Group, where he was challenging the corporate charters that still existed, Wells Fargo, so forth and so on, and going to quantify how much money they benefited from and attack them that way. Johnny Cochran passed and transitioned to the next realm before that came into fruition. But I think translating to people what reparations means, it's being misrepresented as like it's just going to be an every white person tax. There was an episode of ATL that kind of went into that. Right. That's not what it is. It's holding United States government responsible for their sanctioning of the biggest atrocity in American history, which is the MAFA and the transatlantic slave trade and its subsequent captivity of African people or melanated beings. And I think translating that right is key to getting not only, some like people going like, yeah, if y'all could get it, then fuck it. They sanctioned it. But you got to package that right. You know what I'm saying? You got to say it the right way. And I think that the progress that's being made is monumental. And I think it's a spit in the face to, African descendants of slavery in America for the United States government to act like, well, people to say, well, we ain't got it like that. Why y'all sending billions and billions and billions to Ukraine? So, yeah, I get the sentiment. And I think that the wording of it got to be really, really done well. And salute to the people working in that area. I think the brother Marcel for Congress has been heavy on that. And I think he's down in D.C. for this thing, too. I absolutely agree with that.
Indeed, man. We appreciate you. I'm not going to hold much more of your time, man. Maj Toure on Viral Hip Hop News. Before we get up out of here, man, one more time. He said it before. Go back in the chat if you haven't heard it, or go back in the conversation. But one more time, where they could find you and where they can
y'all, the biggest thing right now is we need a bunch of donors, man. We got 2 months to get 220K. That's a lot of bread. You know what I mean? We're going to do a lot of good with that. We need that by January the 1st. So unfortunately, we got to tap out. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. Please, everybody, if everybody in this joint just went and gave $100, it would be a big boom. So GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. And if you guys follow me on Twitter at Maj Toure, just my name, like right there. And I'll put up all of the links to every single thing that you need on top of that, as far as going to the website, as far as going to registering for the classes, or if you want to teach a class, I'll put all of those websites up. Follow me on Twitter at Maj Toure. But again, guys, we need financial resources. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary.
My brother, we appreciate y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed the conversation. If you didn't hear it all, go back and listen to the entire conversation. We had a very powerful one in regards to Kyrie Irving. We addressed the Takeoff, unfortunate murder of Takeoff as well, man. So appreciate the knowledge, appreciate the gems, and look forward to seeing you in person real soon, brother. You take care.
Sure. Peace.
Peace out.